I don't know what I'm looking at here. Yo, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna go ahead and start this engine disassembly. I'm gonna see how far we get into it today. I don't know if all of it will be done. I'm gonna start by removing the plenum, timing cover, the timing belt, and I think that's the goal for today. But if we get in deeper, the cam angle sensor, if we do more, then great. If not, there'll be more episodes. So stay tuned, let's get it. All right, so the first thing that you're gonna need is a 12mm socket or wrench, whatever you decide to use, or impact driver, whatever. And you're gonna remove these top bolts. These are 12, and then you have some bottom bolts as well. I believe those are 10 on the sides here. I'm gonna go ahead and get this done. I'm gonna kind of try to speed things up for you, that way it doesn't look too redundant. All right guys, so I just removed the fuel rail. All right, now that we got the top bolts, we removed the bolts over here that are holding basically everything in place. The bolts are underneath. You can tell it's pretty loose already. There's one bolt I missed. I don't think that's the right bolt for that. It wasn't even threaded into anything. That's insane. There's our plenum, boys. Set this aside. All right guys, now that we got that plenum off, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Allen keys to take the timing cover off, and we're also gonna work on taking off the cam angle sensor. I've already taken off the bolts that hold that in place. Again, we're gonna work on the timing cover right now. All right guys, so again, there was a few different Allen driven bolts in these little conveniently dented areas right there. So what I use is I use a ratchet and a hex bit, because I didn't have an Allen wrench long enough to get up in there. Whatever, it works just fine. Now you're gonna get the cooling pipes pretty loose. You see that this is already ready to come out. These should be somewhat loose. You may have to kind of bang on it a little bit with like a rubber mallet or something, just to kind of loosen it up. Be ready, because once you disconnect, Alright guys, so I just realized I won't be able to get this timing belt off today. I don't have a pulley puller to kind of pull this harmonic balancer off, nor do I have a socket that's big enough that will fit right there. So I'm gonna have to take a trip to the auto repair store, but meanwhile I'm gonna go ahead and remove other components of the engine here. I did use this to kind of top dead center my engine. So you could tell this one is aligned with the actual this one's aligned with the actual timing mark right there, and then this one is right there. But with that as well, there is a video on how to top dead center your engine whenever you are doing something like this. I followed that tutorial on there. They can explain that way better than I can. So go check that out if you're getting into this. Do the how to top dead center your engine using a rod and then turning the crank, and I hand turned it. Again, I don't have a ratchet big enough to fit that or socket. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and remove these cylinders, these spark plug cylinders from the engine, as well as the cam covers. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. Let's see, what we need is, I believe it's a 12. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the top. Let me go ahead and bring you guys a little closer so you can check out what I'm doing. Here we got the top of the engine. I'm gonna move these plastic cylinders where the spark plugs go. Go ahead and pull this out. Tell the condition of these. This one's ripped. I'm gonna have to replace probably all of them. So same thing on the other side. All right, we're gonna go ahead and remove these covers here. This is a Phillips screwdriver. Couldn't tell you the size. It's a really big one. Just popped right off. All right, next I'm gonna go ahead and remove the cam covers on this end. This is a 10mm bolt. All right, what I had to do is I went ahead and I removed this bracket. If you haven't already, go ahead and remove this hard pipe. I hadn't removed this just because it was pretty difficult to get to while in the car. Now that I have it out, obviously I'm able to get this thing off. There it is. All right, guys, so real quick disclaimer. I think I've told everybody I'm not a mechanic. I do this for automotive research. So however you go about taking this apart is completely on you, and I had nothing to do with it. But one thing, and the reason for this disclaimer, is about what I'm about to do next. So these cam covers, they're basically Gorilla Glued on with RTV, and they're a pain to get off. I've tried a rubber mallet already. That hasn't worked. So I'm moving on to this other method that I did find to work a little bit better. So you take your breaker bar, which in this case is this old weightlifting bar. I'm gonna protect it a little bit, and then I simply pried it open like this. All right, now here you can see all this gray RTV that was on here basically sealed everything shut. The cam cover itself looks good. You know, I mean, you know, it's dirty, but it doesn't look bad. There's nothing that I can tell inside either. Doesn't look like any water has gotten through or anything like that. So far we're looking good for some aspects of the car at least. Now onto the other side. Alright guys, so as you can tell, there's the cam right there, there's the lobes themselves. You see there is buildup right there. Very little buildup. That's fine, everything looks good. So keep in mind the bottom one is RTV'd. The other one has its gasket, and these gaskets don't look bad. There goes my bracket. These gaskets do not look bad at all. So just to give you an idea. So basically, I think I'm gonna call it there just because I don't have that pulley to take this harmonic balancer off. That is kind of like the key to everything at this time. So once I get that removed, we'll be able to go ahead and dig deeper in disassembling this engine. If you guys found this interesting, go ahead and hit a like for me, subscribe one time. Send this to a friend that's interested in engines, hot rodding, or freaking just tearing apart their own car. Who knows how well it'll run, right? But we'll get there. You know, we're definitely gonna follow all the specs for that. Just taking apart a car isn't as hard as putting one back together. So I'll worry about that when I get there. But I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.